Hey everyone, I'm tired of people saying Bobby Fischer blundered like an amateur in the first game of the 1972 World Chess Championship match against Boris Spassky, and in this video I will show you why. I will go over the game and share with you some insight from a man who was once a giant in the chess world and that seems to have been forgotten. He knew Bobby Fischer personally and knew his motive for playing such a move. This is information not many people in the chess world have, and today I'm sharing it with you. I hope it also reaches those who mock the American Grandmaster so that they too may learn the truth. Let's go over the game. We're looking at the game from Bobby Fischer's perspective. He had the black pieces. The game started d4, knight f6, c4, e6. And here, our mystery man that we will talk about later said that this move was played by Bobby Fischer in order to avoid his opponent's preparation, much like he did throughout the match. Usually, Bobby Fischer fianchettos the bishop and goes for a King's Indian defense setup. Knight f3, d5, the Queen's Gambit declined. Main line would be cd5, but Spassky plays knight e2, intending to build an attack. e4, it's often useful to make this capture when white has already developed the light squared bishop, as otherwise they would gain a tempo by recapturing the pawn. Here Bobby Fischer plays a novelty, an improvement over b6, which was played in a game by Spassky in 1958. Instead, he plays bishop d7. Bishop b3, and notice that rook d4 removing the defender of the bishop doesn't win material, as white can simply play bishop a4. Knight e4, threatening rook c2, winning material now that the rook can't block. We finally reached the position where the controversial move happened. In this completely drawn endgame, Bobby Fischer shocked the entire world by playing bishop h2, grabbing a poisoned pawn. You may be familiar with a tactic to punish this kind of mistake. It is g3, where the bishop is completely trapped, and the king will pick it up. Why did Fischer make that move, you may ask? Isn't it the kind of blunder that a beginner would make? To answer that question, let's introduce you to Reuben Fine. Dr. Reuben Fine was one of the greatest chess players of his time and a brilliant psychologist. After Fischer won the Junior US Championship in 1956, his mother was concerned about his obsession with chess and therefore she consulted the doctor. They ended up just playing some Skittles games. Now, Reuben Fine was therefore acquainted with Fischer and he knew from Fischer himself why he played bishop h2 in this game. He wrote about it in this book. Let's check it out. He wrote the following: every beginner knows that this is a blunder, and it does lose. So why did Bobby do it? Afterwards, Fischer told me that he had miscalculated, thinking that after g3, h5, king e2, h4, king f3, h3, he could escape, but overlooking king g4, which traps the bishop. Now Müller continues this line with bishop g1, king h3, bishop f2, bishop d2, when again the bishop is trapped. I think that the psychological explanation is more in order. Bobby is out to show that he can make what everybody would consider an impossible move. Caught up in this fantasy, he does not calculate properly. When I tell you that this information is not very well known, I kid you not. In this collection, Carsten Müller annotates every serious game Bobby Fischer ever played, and he says this about this move: why Fischer captured this poisoned pawn has remained a mystery to this day. He must have miscalculated a line, which is a very rare occurrence in his games. Now, he guessed that he miscalculated a line, and he even guessed the line, but he doesn't know for sure. That is not all. I told you at the beginning of this video that many players ridicule Fischer's play in this game, saying it was an amateur's mistake. The same players that will look at engine lines and criticize a grandmaster's play. Let's see what the computer has to say about it. As you can see, I'm running the engine at pretty high depth here, and the position turns out to be a draw. That isn't to say that Fischer's move wasn't a mistake, as Carsten Müller points out. Now White is playing for 2 results. However, it isn't a game-losing blunder as many make it out to be. In fact, the computer barely gives White 0.3, 0.45 advantage, which isn't even close to a forced win. Back to the game. Spassky, of course, captures the bishop for a pawn, and after a couple more moves, the actual blunder takes place. Müller explains how to draw this with e5. Here, if king g3, king d3 from Timmans' analysis, if instead a5. This is Bern's analysis, which Müller continues by explaining that at the end of this line, black gets a fortress. Instead, Fischer blunders with f5, and after king h4, Müller gives a line by Kasparov, which would be more tenacious than the text. Let's check it out. Fischer played f4 instead, and after ef4, Müller comments, "the sealed move. Now it is clear that White will win." The game ended like this. In this position, Fischer resigned. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and comment below. It all helps me very much and I'll be very grateful. I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.